Hey, what's going on, everybody? Sorry, I just saw we were live. Eric Crane here. It is time for a little bit of What After Dark. I'm joined by the Hoopster, Hoop 2410, Mike Pettit. We're also going to be joined very shortly by Big T. He came through the door recently. He's on his way up to the computer. He's probably running. He's got them long legs, so he's probably just like doing 3 steps at a time. He's going to be with us very shortly. But Hoop, how we doing, buddy?
Doing well, and hopefully, I know this is a new hour for us, a new show and everything, but hopefully people are listening last week because the host, yourself, gave the goods. Gave out the goods last week, and I wasn't smart enough to take advantage of it, so hopefully some of the people that were listening were smart enough to take advantage of it.
You laughed at me. You guys laughed at me. Like, I'm sitting here, Odell. You guys are like, hee. I'm sitting here, T.Y. Hilton. And everybody just crush. Now,
let me tell you, when you were taking your victory laps on Twitter, I was like hiding in shame, like in the corner. Kids are like, "Daddy, what are you doing?" I'm embarrassed. Like, Daddy messed up. But guess what? I'm gonna fix it this week. We're gonna get the winners out there this week.
I'm glad to hear it, and I'm ready for that too. Looking at what do you think about, just in general, what do you think about the week as we approach week 4 in the NFL?
Well, it's an interesting week. Obviously, every week is interesting, but I think there's, especially on fantasy draft, I think there's a plethora of mid-tier options that I have a lot of interest in. I think there's one guy that'll probably be the most popular on the slate, which I have a feeling we'll all agree. And by all, I mean when Tony gets on here and joins us, which he should be joining us pretty soon. He's a little late to the party, but he'll be on. But yeah, I think there's one guy that's going to be very popular. And outside of that, I think things will be spread out again. And like I said, a lot of mid-tier guys I like a lot this week on fantasy draft.
Well, if you guys were watching on Twitter, I promised a listener league. It's going to be a free roll, and I'm going to post the link whenever I damn well feel like it. So you got to keep listening. That's how I roll. Also going on fantasy draft this week. It's pretty cool stuff. The biggest qualifier we've had so far, it's a $444 qualifier to the Carolina Millions. This is going to be week 4. You win it, you get first place. You're coming to Carolina, where you will probably compete against me. I haven't won yet, but I'm going to. Let's just be honest. So yeah, if you do that, you're going to come play at the live final with us. I think it's I'm trying to figure out how many people get paid, because for all right, anyways, I'll look at that in a second. Anyways, we got Tony Niehaus here. What's up, Tony? I'm glad you could
be there. How you guys doing?
How we doing, pal?
Going excellent.
Yeah, are you excited for week 4?
I'm excited to play the Rockies for the first time ever tonight and watching them do some things.
Wait. What happened to fading Coors Field?
My son's birthday party's this weekend, so all my family from Colorado's in, and we were going to root them on, so they got me on the wagon just in time.
This might literally be like the first time all season you played them.
It is the first time, besides just a random team here and there.
I'm jealous. I sat out the old baseball slate today.
That's a smart decision, though. That's a much better decision than playing.
I don't know. I stacked up Texas and Minnesota. I'm feeling okay too. Okay, these are the paths for this week, guys. You win first place. You're going to get 1 seat to the inaugural Carolina Millions High Five.
That's me, though. So who else gets in there?
Well, I'm going to tell you that in a second. But it's going to be held during Week 14 in Charlotte. If you win a seat, now, guys, this is no joke. The seat value, we know we've kind of talked some other sites about this seat value, that seat value. This seat value is massive. $88,000 is what this seat value is worth. So you go to this live final, guys. We ain't messing around, because that is some serious cheese right there.
What does second place pay, though? Because I'm winning first, so what?
No. I thought you said you were fine with. This is the qualifier,
not the final.
Oh, okay, yeah. Final, I'm already going to win. Yeah. So
yeah, the qualifier this week, I'm winning that.
Okay, well, if you get first in the qualifier, that's what's going on.
What's available for everyone else? What does second place pay?
2nd through 11th gets a ticket to.
It's a tough tournament. You might not want to get in.
To something else. I'm already going to win. So guys, if you get in, just understand that. Yeah, good luck with that. But yeah, anyways, there are only going to be 12 people to qualify for the Carolina Millions. First place is $200,000, and it's nice because, guys, we've all 3 of us have been to live finals where we've said, God, I didn't get first place, and the drop off is just massive first to second. This isn't like that in fantasy drafts. well done, because here are the payouts. $200K, you get second, you're not going down to like $7 like some other place. It's $175K, then $150, $125, $100K. So $75K. I mean, like 12th place, last place in the live final gets $15 grand. That's also more than you know, some more places. So yeah, like this is such a great payout structure. Everybody who's there is going to be happy. But I think mostly they're going to be happy for me because, well, I'm going to run. I'm going to win. Right.
Yeah, we're all playing for second. I hope I have the chance to play for second. I'd take it because this payout structure is the nuts, like we talked about. Like you get to these other sites live finals, it's like in order to realize value on your seats, you got to get like a top 8 to 10% lineup. Like here, if you get in, essentially, you have a really good chance at realizing the value of that $80,000 seat. I mean, the payout structure is just perfect. And for the industry, I really hope other sites kind of take notice and do the same. But Fantasy Draft has it right. If you're chasing the live final, this is the one I suggest that you go for here in Fantasy Draft.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you guys saying, I don't want to pay $444, look, I get it. They're running super satellites. If you want to try a baseball satellite tomorrow, there's one running that it's only $8.88 to get into. You win that, you get to play in the big boy tournament on Sunday for $444. You win that, baby, you're going to Carolina, and baby, you might be looking at 6 figures in the old bankroll. So, guys, let's go ahead and jump into the slate because, Tony, we were talking earlier, week 4 this week, it's a fun week. I like some spots. I'm going to be kind of contrarian in the last spots. And, oh, by the way, you owe me an apology, Tony.
Yeah, I already submitted my apology. I told them.
Did I say something wrong? What did I say?
I was hiding in shame Sunday when Crane hit the old Twitter machine with his victory laps because I know the guys that
Russ Wilson,
Ty Hilton, Odell Beckham, all the guys.
So where did you win all the money?
That's what I said.
No, I missed all my running backs. But hey, you know what? My strength is finding the wide receivers anyway, so I'm not too concerned about it. Like whatever.
I just remember Barry. I just remember giving him, just feeding it to him, giving him so much.
The funniest part was I was making fun of you even in the third quarter of the Russell Wilson game. I'm like, this guy played Russell Wilson. I was laughing at you, and then all of a sudden they score every possession for like 2 minutes.
Hey, that's 4 quarters, buddy. We don't count our chickens. We don't do any of that stuff.
How did you not win with those? You didn't have those guys on the same team? Who'd you play?
I did. I just had a ton of like Jay Ajayi, a lot of Ty Montgomery, a ton of James White. Who's some of the other crappy players that screwed us last week? And you guys
running back's been tough all year. Running back's been a disaster.
Yeah, it has not been fun. So hopefully we can figure it out this week because there's nothing worse. And you guys know this. It's just so brutal when you hit, like, just smash a position like wide receiver like I did last week, like quarterback like I did last week, and then you just miss on running back. That's why I like doing this show Sunday morning, guys. That's why I like doing this show because we get to talk, we get to shoot the scenes. You know, it's a good time. It's fun. It's loose.
How big do you guys think Story's schlong is? Is it pretty long?
He just hit a second home run.
Get it off the top of the wall for a triple.
I'll take it. That's a lot better.
Like 180.
What?
Is he still hitting like $180?
He's been on fire.
All right, so maybe he's hitting 190 now.
He's been mashing.
All right, YouTube chat. I'm going to post a link right now, and it is that is an ugly old link. Wow, that's just got like a bunch of numbers on it.
What up, Dugga? The Dugga.
Yeah. All right, hold on. Let me see. The link will be. I want to make the link pretty. So if I go right here, okay. See. Guys, I gotta be smart. I'm not the smartest computer guy ever. It's a miracle I can even
tape to the wall like that. I like that look. Look at that.
Oh yeah, that's the way.
Push pins putting it into the wall.
Yeah,
that is how it's done.
How do you guys do it? Do you guys use those big old poles that they have set up?
Just laying pipe all day.
Oh, all right, guys. I just posted a link in the chat. Now that is to the payout structure of the Carolina Millions, which of course we were talking about. Yep. We were talking about earlier that we like a lot. Now, also here in maybe, let's say 3 minutes and 45 seconds, I'm going to post a link to the free roll this week. If you win the free roll, guess what? You get free money. That's how a free roll works. It's good times. So let's go ahead and jump into the slate, though. Let's talk quarterbacks. Most expensive guy is Tom Brady. He's at home against Carolina. Tony, I can't help but think that Tom Brady's just going to be under-owned in this spot just because people don't want to pay up at quarterback naturally. I kind of love him this week. What do you think, Tony?
I think it's going to be 1 week late. Like, well, first of all, let me say, like, every week Brady is definitely in. I think we said it last week on the show. Even like, I think you need a Brady team every week, and when you play,
that's my main point. Not to cut you off, but it's like if you're playing multiple lineups, like if you're somebody that makes 20 lineups, you need to pair Brady with Gronk, with Hogan, with Cooks. You need to have like all those combos because I
was going to say even double stack it. Brady's for sure a double stack guy.
Yeah, like when he goes off, he's going 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. Like there's a lot of that to go around. So like if you're playing multiple lineups and you're not doing like multiple Brady teams every week, I think you're doing it wrong.
Well, and this is such a good matchup for him just because Carolina, they're really good against the run. They're pretty good against tight ends, too. Like, I actually really love Brady to Cooks this week, and I don't think it's going to be too popular. All right, so I like Brady. You guys both like Brady. Tony, who are some of the other quarterbacks you like this week?
Quarterback's always so hard for me because it's just like there's so many good plays, and I'll still stand by the same point. Like, I feel like you never win you can lose it, but you can't ever win it at quarterback. So a bunch of these guys, like – I like Dalton again against Cleveland. I know it sounds terrible, like I'm always on these Cincinnati guys, but it's just because of the matchups. Like they're I'm really not a Bengals fan. Like he's just in a really good spot, and I like him again this week. You got who else is? I actually like Cutler coming off that disaster last week. Gets a good matchup versus New Orleans. He's only 10-9 on fantasy draft. I like Deshaun Watson. I mean, I like a ton of quarterbacks. It's an easy position, really.
What about you, Hoop?
Yeah, I like a lot, and I'll be looking at the lower tier here. Not really going to go to the top. Starting at like Phillip Rivers, who I love Phillip Rivers this week. I think he just mashes this week against the Eagles. They good run defense, terrible against the pass. Phillip Rivers hasn't been great, but he's going to be chucking the rock. So I like him. I like Carson Palmer. I like. Honestly, it's so weird to say, but I think my favorite is Trevor Siemian.
Really?
Never thought I'd say it. I never thought I'd say that.
The part is that you said that. He's my favorite too. I forgot about him.
He's looked phenomenal. You throw out the game against Buffalo last week, tough spot, traveling across country. Those first 2 games, like he was sharp, and he has 2 really good wide receivers he's throwing the football to, who I love both those guys this week as well. But yeah, I think Siemian, especially on this site, where he's only 10-2, $200 above the minimum, I think he might be my favorite. Raiders defense is not good.
All right,
I got it too because you can play both receivers with him. It's like the perfect. I mean, I always look back on finals because it's always like when we put the most thoughts into our lineups. But last year at that DraftKings final, it was like the best stack.
Yep.
Siemian with both those receivers because they don't throw it to anyone else. So if somehow he throws for 4 touchdowns, chances are you're going to get all 4 of them, which is a good thing.
Yep.
One under the radar guy that I really like that literally I haven't heard a single other person talk about, Marcus Mariota. And I know this seems kind of nuts, but with Corey Davis out, we know that the Texans, they're really good at getting after the quarterback, right? But guess what? Tennessee's really good at protecting the quarterback. Like that's what that offensive line is really good at doing. Mariota, he's basically has one guy he's going to be thrown to, or 1.5 guys, I guess. There's Delaney Walker, who's the half guy for me. I don't think I want too much Delaney Walker, but I love pairing him with Rashad Matthews of all people, which seems like a weird thing to say, but I think they both have tournament winning upside. And I maybe I'm nuts, I don't know. Hoop, I really agree with you on Phillip Rivers. He seems like the easiest play of the entire week, so I like him quite a bit. Let's see, anybody else that we kind of missed on that people are talking about?
One guy that's been pretty good so far this year in super tough matchups, and now he gets some easier matchup, is Dak Prescott. He's had, especially him and Dez, Dez has had murderer's row of matchups, and he still put up good numbers. What's going to happen when he actually gets good matchups like this week?
Well, he's still going to be shadowed by Tremaine Johnson, but it's still going to feel like a vacation to Dez. Tremaine Johnson's good, but he ain't nearly as good as the guys he's faced. So, yeah, I'm all about some Dez this week. And, again, I don't think anybody's going to play him. I just got them talking about this on the X.
Isn't that the nice thing about quarterback, though? There's no way anyone's over 15%. You can play anyone you want.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know who? Well, almost anyone we want. We're not going to play Cam this week.
We're definitely not. I mean, I'm not. Are either one of you guys on it?
No!
Never.
All on the off train?
I didn't play him against the Saints. I'm not going to play him against somebody else.
How much longer does he have a job? Seriously, how can they keep rolling him out there?
And he's playing against Belichick now. Like, Belichick.
No, nothing's going to go wrong for you there, Cam. The chat was asking earlier about Deshaun Watson. I understand he's getting some traction. I'm not going to overreact to one game. I understand Tennessee, they're not good against receivers, but I don't want to play Deshaun Watson. Any interest for you guys?
I'd play him. I mean, you're talking if I think like the three names like on this lower tier, like Tyrod Taylor, Siemian, and Watson are three guys I think people have interest in. He's number 3 for me out of that group because I like Siemian so much, and Tyrod Taylor. I think him and Tyrod Taylor I think are similar plays this week. So I mean I don't hate it, but for me I just like Siemian a lot more.
Let's talk running backs, and again, this is where I need to get better because last week I just got absolutely killed at running back. Le'Veon Bell, he's the most expensive guy in Baltimore. He's going to have the lowest ownership he's going to have all year, Tony, and I understand Baltimore's not really a team I want to pick on, though they did just get torched by the Jags of all teams. Talk to me about Bell. Any interest?
I'm starting to get worried. I think he might just be worn down a little bit or something. I mean, just because he got there almost last week, like it wasn't a great game, but he didn't kill you. But he didn't look good. I mean, it took a touchdown from the 1-yard line. He just looks sluggish to me. Baltimore's always solid against the run. I don't know. Like, I just don't think I'm going to use him. It sounds crazy because I'm always on him, but maybe I'm getting off early, but I think I'm off of him.
What about you, Hoop?
So for me, like in tournaments, I don't know if like the upside is there right now. Like in cash games, I still like him because I know he's has the 30 touch upside, which is so phenomenal. Like even if he's not accurate, if he doesn't have the same burst that we've seen in the past, like a guy that can get 30 touches, like that's just huge. So in cash games, I still have interest if I can fit him in. Not a lock by any means, but in tournaments, I don't think I want anything to do with him. Like I'm definitely playing like all these other guys around him over him in tournaments. So like cash games in play for tournaments, I don't really want them.
Yeah, and you need a lot of upside at that price, I understand. And one of the guys that's going to provide that upside, I think, is Ezekiel Elliott, Tony. Everybody loves Zeke. At home game against the Rams, he's a big favorite. He's involved in the passing game more. Like it just seems like a lock spot for Zeke. I want to be over the field here.
Yeah, he's for sure the guy up top for me. And running back's just loaded this week. I love a lot of cheap guys too, so I don't think you like have to play. Like I love a lot of high-priced receivers too, so I might have some weird roster constructions in tournaments where I play 2 cheap running backs and a bunch of good receivers. But obviously Zeke is clearly my guy up top. If I play one, which I probably will, and like cash games, obviously you're going to play a big running back. It's going to be Zeke for me for sure.
And on the other side of that game, Hoop, is Todd Gurley, who a lot of people are talking about. That's another guy. He's just so involved in the Rams passing, running, everything right now that you have to consider this guy. What do you think about Gurley?
Yeah, I mean, this day and age is just not, it's hard to find a running back that's getting all the work, like all 3 downs, goal line, and passing work. And that's kind of what we've seen out of Gurley this year. I think this is a good spot for Dallas. I think Dallas, handles the Rams pretty handily in this spot, but the amount of work that Gurley gets is it's tough to pass up. Ezekiel Elliott is, I know he'll be popular, and you want to go over the field on him, which I think is a phenomenal move. It's just a smash spot. Like he didn't look good the first couple weeks, even the first half of that last game, but the second half, like you could see, he was like a different player in that second half, and we saw some of the explosion plays. He's running so many passing routes, which is obviously super valuable for running backs. It's just like a smash spot. Carlos Hyde just tore this defense apart. Now, Elliott gets the home matchup with the Rams. I just don't see how you pass up on him here.
One guy that I was on last week that I think people are going to play this week, and I think it's a mistake, is Christian McCaffrey. He's 12-7 over on Fantasy Draft. And this Patriots team, like Patrick Chung, there are 2 guys that cover running backs out of the backfield. It's Patrick Chung on one, and then Dante Hightower is coming back. He's probable this week. And all of a sudden, there's no Greg Olsen on this Carolina Panthers offense. So what does that mean? Do you think they're just going to let McCaffrey just run wide? No, they have 2 great coverage guys that are back there as far as safeties and linebackers go. I think people are really going to make a big mistake in playing McCaffrey this weekend. I just don't want, especially at this price, like Tony, he's just so expensive, man. I want nothing to do with him.
I just can't imagine playing any Carolina player against New England. I don't even think New England's defense is good. But
bad. I mean, it's bad.
they match up perfect with this team. I mean, Carolina just doesn't have enough weapons to scare you. So I don't like McCaffrey at all. I mean, you can get Dalvin Cook cheaper. You can get so many guys cheaper that there's no way I'm playing McCaffrey.
The problem I have with McCaffrey is like literally for him to have like a really good game where you feel bad about fading him, he's going to need to get like 10 catches. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not going to – the odds of scoring a touchdown seem pretty low right now, and he can't really run the ball, so he needs like a ton of catches, and that's just not very likely. So I agree with you guys there.
Yeah, and the one guy that I am looking right at, and you mentioned him, Tony, 12-4 for Dalvin Cook. I mean, it's just a smash spot for him. Him and Zeke, like, as far as prices go, I think they're actually pretty close as far as point per dollar. I love Dalvin Cook this week.
Yeah, he's in a great spot, and just goes back to the point. There's just so many good plays that it's going to be a fun week to make some teams because there's a lot of ways to go.
Yep, absolutely. Hoop, you mentioned earlier there was a guy that you thought we were all going to love. I thought it was going to be Dalvin Cook. Who is it?
Oh, Ezekiel Elliott. Come on, you know me.
Oh, okay. I was just the
most obvious play.
Dalvin Cook. Yeah,
what was that?
I would say it's just such a great spot for Zeke and Dalvin Cook.
Oh, yeah.
Who are some of the other guys at running back you're looking at, Hoop?
Come down a little bit. I mean, I love this Chris Carson guy, and I mean, I guess I don't really love Chris Carson. I love the spot, with Procise out. I just looked back on the work that Procise got. He had like four receptions last week and like 5 carries. I think like all that work goes to Carson, and 14-point home favorite. The price is, what is he on here? He's 10-1. So like that's just, to me, I think he gets like probably around 15 carries and 4 to 5 receptions. And, I think that's more than enough to pay off the price tag. If he gets into the end zone, it's just a huge, huge week for that price tag.
Well, another bonus, too, if you're playing a tournament like we were talking about, like the Carolina Millions qualifier, where you really, really want to try and win first, Chris Carson is going to be unowned in that thing because everybody, they kind of play their same teams in all the different sites. Meanwhile, fantasy draft, you can still play this Monday night game. You should play the Sunday night game, which should be the case everywhere, but it's not anyways. But the Monday night game is still available. So a guy like Chris Carson, people are going to build their teams with where they're playing elsewhere. So Chris Carson's going to go under-owned here. A couple other guys I like. I know you're going to like this guy, Tony. Buck Allen at home against the Steelers. You should be trailing. We know the Steelers, like those linebackers just aren't great in coverage. And Buck Allen, even though Terrence West is back this week, he's still going to be getting plenty of usage. Are you on the Buck train with me?
Yeah, he's one of those cheap guys. I mean, him and Powell are basically the same guy for me this week. Like, Powell is just in a straight smash spot for me at 9,100 on there. Like, I just have to play. That's one of the reasons I don't know if I'm going to go up top at running back. I just love these cheap guys. And obviously my favorite play by far at running back is my boy Mixon against Cleveland. Like, he's just going to straight smash this week. He got over 20 touches last week. They got him involved just like I thought they would. He didn't smash, so people don't necessarily know how good he is. They do know he's trending in the right direction, so he's going to get some ownership, but he's going to smash this week, and it's still too cheap at 10-6.
Yeah, that was another good call last week.
I'll tell you
what, Tony's the only guy in the entire industry I heard talking about Joe Mixon.
Well, I hope nobody's on him then, because you guys don't
last week. Last
week. No, everybody's caught up this week.
It made sense, though, and it ended up – I mean, Jeremy Hill got the start. He got like 2 carries, but then he didn't play again, really. I mean, so it made sense to me, and it came true. So I don't see why it would be different this week.
You're fine with the coach talk about Powell, that it's running back by committee, hot hand stuff.
I mean, what are they going to say, though? Like,
yeah.
I don't.
I mean, what type of work do you think he gets?
Like, I don't. Powell, like, it's not like he's going to be like on every team or something.
Yeah.
When you guys talking about the Monday night game, though, isn't like the best play of the week Kareem Hunt? Like, no one's going to have him because he's not on either site.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I don't hate that call though. I feel like I've missed out on Kareem Hunt every time, so I feel like I just can't go back there. Does that make sense?
But he's going to be low owned, so you haven't missed out.
I get the argument. I'm just saying that
he's like Lev Bell was.
Yeah, he's really good. You know who is not really good? Byron Buxton. You suck. Nice strikeout, you bum. All right, who are some Byron Buxton? Who are some of these other, like, I don't know what I'm doing with Bilal Powell either. Like, I understand everybody likes him.
9,100.
I mean, what do you think he gets? Like,
we're going to talk about our good calls, by the way. Where's my boy, the Duke?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I should have just sat back and not said a word last week because I made fun of everything, and all the guys I made fun of just went off. Like, I'm ashamed to even be here.
I would have got rich last week if I didn't have the worst call of all time on Oakland. They got like 40 yards.
Oh gosh, that was bad. That was tough.
That was not a good call.
That was definitely not a good call. In the chat, they want to know if we like Devontae Freeman. Any interest there for you?
I mean, he's a guy that people don't really play a lot because they still believe that there's a pretty fair share between him and Coleman, but he's been the guy for the most part. They have a high team total here. I think they kill the Bills here. They play much better at home. So I do like Freeman. I don't think he'll be very owned. So a good tournament play there.
What about you, Tony? Are you on Freeman?
I can't play him, but I mean, we've talked about so many people. I just have to limit my player pool. I can't play everyone. I mean, I'm only going to play 5 or 6 teams like I always do. Like, I'm not going to ever play 150 teams for the most part. So if I was going to play
fantasy draft, I can only play 100. And when I say I can only play 100, that means that I'm probably going to play 100.
What is 100? Is that the max now?
Yeah.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, and plus I'm crushing in baseball over on fantasy draft tonight too, so that feels nice. Feels nice and good. My Rocky stack over there. That's why I have my Rocky stack. And let's see, I'm in second in their $25, $5,000 guaranteed home run. And I'm also winning yet another ticket to that $400 44. So you're going to see me with 2 in there this week. So I'm first in that top 5 good seats. Guess what, guys? I ain't
good time to be the craner.
Hey, buddy, with how the last 6 months has gone, my rush is going to be really nice. Like it's around this time about a year ago that things started clicking. Let's just say. So yeah, I'm hoping that comes up soon. Chat wants to know about one more guy, Shady McCoy, yay or nay, Hoop?
I just think the Bills get crushed in the spot. They won. They beat Denver at home. That's a big win for them. I think they go to Atlanta and get crushed and don't really get anything going on offense. So for me, I am not going to be playing McCoy just for that reason.
He's just going to be so involved. I
get that. But I just think it's one of those games where they can't get their offense going here in Atlanta. So I don't know. I'm not playing them.
I will say, if you're on fantasy draft, like $16K for McCoy or $16,100 for Kareem Hunt, you play Kareem Hunt. Like that, I really feel pretty strongly about that. I would. Yeah. So yeah, fantasy draft probably won't see me with any Shady McCoy. Let's go on to wide receiver and Antonio Brown. We talked about Lev Bell being under owned. Antonio Brown's going to be even less owned. And I don't hate this spot for Brown, Tony. What do you think?
This is what I'm talking about. Why I like all those cheap running backs. I just love these receivers at the top this week. Obviously, I love Antonio Brown. I like Julio a little bit. I love Beckham. I love AJ Green the most. I mean, all these guys at the top are in just smash spots for me. So I want to play. I just love the roster construction of playing a couple cheap running backs and loading 2 or 3 of these guys in there. And you can do it with the way the prices work. So I'm really interested in that structure.
I am so heartbroken that this Saints game isn't in the U.S. and isn't on this slate, because if it was, Brees and Michael Thomas might be on every single team I make. I wish he was there. Obviously, it's not.
I think it's so stupid why it's that early. It's the most ridiculous thing.
It's
really
just
dumb.
silly. Yeah,
and it's like 11 o'clock over there, right? Like, why do they not play it at night and get it at a normal time over here?
I don't know. Well, it wouldn't matter.
That would make way too much sense.
True.
No one watches it. It's just
I know. It's really dumb. Is it even on TV?
I didn't watch last week. I know, Tony. I know you watched last week because we talked about it.
Just because it was on my computer while we were doing the show, I wouldn't have watched it if we weren't doing something at the time.
It was on it wasn't even on TV. It was on Twitter or something, right?
It was on Yahoo.
So silly. All right, who are some of the higher price wide receivers you're looking at this week?
So yeah, I think this tier goes pretty low on because, like I said earlier, there's so many good mid-tier plays. There's so many good mid-tier running back plays that people will take a balanced approach. So I think you get all these guys low owned, and I just like AJ Green. I mean, he'll be popular on other sites, but he's priced fair. He's priced pretty accurately here. And you just saw, it was a totally different offense last week for the Bengals, and he's going to be super involved, which typically is. But the first 2 weeks, their offense looked really bad. But I think we're back to like a 10-catch, 100-yard touchdown performance here, and that's good at just about any price tag. Antonio Brown matchup proof. I mean, it would take – I don't even know what the matchup would be before I say, I have no interest in Antonio Brown. I like him every single week. Like, he's better than any cornerback in football. He can't be covered. So he'll be low owned. I mean, he is the highest priced player like on the site. So he's going to be low. Beckham's healthy. Julio Jones, like I said, I like the Falcons to get things going here. So, I mean, all of these guys I think are really, really good tournament plays.
Brandon Cooks is going to be so under-owned. It's such a good spot for him. Like these Carolina cornerbacks are good, but they're not fast. They're like they're bigger guys. They're not speed guys. Cooks is the only guy who lines up well against the kind of defense that Carolina plays, and he's going to be 3%. Meanwhile, Cooks has run the second most deep routes in all of football this year. Brady has thrown the most deep passes in all of football this year. And this Carolina team, they're going to struggle with covering the deep ball against guys like Cooks. It's such a perfect match for Brandon Cooks, and I love that he's going to be 3%. And if you're watching the show, you're going to be part of that 3%, I hope, because I crush it. All right, another guy I'm interested in, Dez Bryant. We already talked about him. I think the matchup, I like him. Tremaine Johnson's good, but again, this is going to feel like a vacation for Dez Bryant. Like, it's just he's had so many tough matchups, but the chalk in that exact price range is DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, against Tennessee, I know I'm kind of poo-pooed on Deshaun Watson, but Hopkins is just in such a solid spot here, Hoop. I assume that you like him in cash games.
Yeah, I like Hopkins, and like he kind of starts the tier that's just to me for like cash games that's just beyond loaded. Like Hopkins, I love. Demaryius Thomas, I like. Golden Tate, Larry Fitzgerald, Emmanuel Sanders. The list goes on. I mean, you get a little bit lower, but I mean, those are like the main guys, and they're just all to me. And I love those Broncos guys. I like Simeon, so obviously I like Emmanuel Sanders. I like Demaryius Thomas. Like there's like 6 really good plays from Dez Bryant. Yeah, from like Dez Bryant down to Emmanuel Sanders. Just so many good plays there.
What about you, Tony? Where are you looking in that mid-range?
Yeah, I mean, you guys said it. It's going to be a fun week to build because there is a lot of plays, and the hard part's going to be narrowing down your ranges and all those. I think I'm off of Hopkins just because of that. I like all the other guys more. I just really like these other offenses, and there's no way I can play Hopkins over Dez Bryant after the matchups Dez Bryant's had, and I just love Dez in this spot. Like, I think he scores a high percentage of the time, and as long as he scores, he's going to get there. So I just like all those guys, both Denver guys. Everybody Hoop said, basically, I like. So I like all of them more than Hopkins, so I guess I'm off of him just because I can't play everybody.
Well, and if you go down a little bit, guy we talked about last week who ended up smashing, Deshaun Jackson, he's at home against the Giants. He's going to be lined up against Eli Apple because we know that the Giants quarterback, Janoris Jenkins, is going to be shadowing Mike Evans most of the time, which means Jackson gets Eli Apple, and if he gets Eli Apple, he's going to be going. So I like Deshaun Jackson. Another guy, I mentioned Rashard Matthews. He's going to be 2%, and I like him quite a bit. Any punt options for you, Hoop, that we haven't touched on?
I like Marquise Lee, just getting a lot of attention there. With Robinson out, I think 7 and we had like 10 targets, a lot of targets going his way. I don't know. I don't like a lot of cheap guys at wide receiver, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I think you can go back to who's the dude? The dude for the Bengals, LaFell. I can go back to him. I think he ends up having a better game.
How many plays did the dude play?
He can't have a worse game. That's for damn sure.
Oh yeah, he's got to do a little bit. But for me,
he was on the field for 92% of the snaps.
I'm saying he was out there every single play.
He's like Dante Exum when he was starting.
Oh my God, I'm mind blown.
He played every single. He was out there for every snap. But I just like that mid tier so much that I'm finding a way to play those guys. And even like another name we didn't mention, that's a little bit cheaper than those top guys, Keenan Allen. I think it's just I said I like Rivers, so I obviously have to like Keenan Allen. I think he's just such a safe freaking play. Probably more of a cash game play because you're looking for 7 to 8 receptions and probably 80 to 90 yards. I think is very fair expectation for him.
Yeah, and if you want to gamble on the other side of that Chargers team, Tyree Williams, 8,700. He is absolutely in play too for tournaments. Definitely not a cash play for tournaments. Tony, anybody else in this cheap range you like?
I have to agree with Hoop for the most part again. Like, I just can't play cheap.
That's a smart thing to do.
Last
That's a
week.
smart thing to do. Just not last week, but it's a new week. So.
I mean, I follow the money. The person that makes all the cheese, I follow. Like,
yeah.
Well, like, why we don't need to go cheap at receiver. No. There's so many good plays. Like, why punt at receiver when you can play cheap running backs and a cheap quarterback? It just makes – there's no way I'm punting receiver. There's no way.
All right. Let's talk tight ends real quick before we get out of here. Gronk, I don't like this matchup, but Zach Ertz, whoever he paid off to get every good matchup ever, and that this week he gets the Chargers.
Chargers linebacker. What would a bad matchup be?
I mean, a team that doesn't suck against the tight end, like a team that doesn't suck in the middle. Like Ertz is just in such a great spot.
He's so good though. Like he crushes every spot.
I get it, but the Giants, the Chiefs, and the Redskins can't cover the tight end to save their life. If I was their I'm 5'6". If I was their tight end, they would find me. Except for I mean, it's just they're just really good matchups. This is another one against the Chargers. I know they shut down Kelsey. That was more of a volume thing. I'm not concerned at all about that.
I was about to say, like, how didn't they just shut down Kelsey?
They didn't shut him down. Kelsey just didn't see any targets. And by the way, Kelsey matched with the Redskins, and we just talked about that when Ertz crushed that match. That's another great spot.
Kelsey played every snap and got one target, and you're calling out their tight end defense?
Oh, they got smashed the other 2 weeks. Like I have no problem with Kelsey here, or with Ertz, or Kelsey, to be honest. Hoop, another guy I have interest in, and this is for tournaments only. Kyle Rudolph. We know Detroit; they can't cover the tight end. I know I've heard all this stuff. Oh, he's blocking 25% of the time instead of 12% of the time. Dude, Kyle Rudolph's good. Like Case Keenum, he threw to him when he started last year. Yeah, it didn't happen last start, but I almost don't even care. Like Detroit sucks against the tight end. Kyle Rudolph is way better than what he's shown this year. 8,100 for Kyle Rudolph, Hoop, seems way too cheap.
Yeah, like when I initially put in my lineups this week, he was like the tight end that kind of stood out to me like a really good play. But I don't know. I'm a little more concerned about like the blocking stuff because they have so many more solidified weapons on offense. Like maybe you just don't think that's his new role to block a little bit more?
Not at all.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't know. Like I still don't know. Like I can't figure it out. So I don't know.
Like Slay is going to be covering Stephon Diggs. I know Diggs is a beast, but still, I'm still going to really curtail my expectations for Stephon Diggs. Thielen in the slot. Yeah, okay, Condre Diggs has been playing really well this year. Like, to me, Rudolph is in a really good spot, and literally nobody's talking about him. And this might be one of those spots where I just get egg on my face at the end of the week, but I'm going to have some Rudolph, and I think he's a solid tournament option. What about you, Tony? Any interest in Rudolph?
I just have a hard time because, I mean, those receivers have looked so good, and Cook has looked so good. So they have three better weapons in my mind. Like, he's going to be the fourth option, and it just scares me when you're going to a fourth option. But, I mean, I've always been a fan of Rudolph. Like, I love his skill set. I like the matchup. So I get what you're saying for sure. I get more worried about the blocking too, kind of, just because I think he's the fourth option. So if he's really the fourth option, then he is going to block more, in my opinion.
I hope not, because I'm going to play him. Austin Seferian-Jenkins, everybody's talking about him this week. Hoop, does Austin Seferian-Jenkins chalk week interest you?
No, I like the guy that's actually the same price as him a lot more, Evan Ingram. 5.9K targets have been super consistent. The production has been consistent for a 3K or a 5.9K tight end. I mean, 4 to 5 catches, 40 to 50 yards. If he gets in the box, he smashes. If he has an average week, he hits value. So, like for me, if I'm down there, he's my guy.
What about you, Tony?
Man, I'm having a hard time with tight end this week. Like nothing sticks out too much, like off the page. I agree with both those plays, like Ingram. Who was I just looking at? I actually think Jared Cook against Denver. Denver's always been great against receivers, but a little weaker against you don't like him?
I'm never going to like Jared Cook.
That was just the reaction. You got me nervous.
No, he's
been
down this road for 5, 6, 7 years.
He's solid though. Like, what's been wrong with him?
Maybe I'm just looking at it from a career standpoint rather than a weekly standpoint,
like I mean, he's been good. I mean, he's got 5 or 6 targets every week. He's caught at least 4 balls every week. He's got a touchdown last week. I don't know. Like,
you winning a tournament with that?
It's tight end. We're going back to the thing where you need 30 from every player to win again. It's a tight end.
I'm not gonna lie. It definitely helps.
I mean,
I'll tell you what.
One thing, but we're talking about fantasy draft. Like, there's not that many people in there.
That's a good point. I will say, Would you have interest if I said there was a tight end going up against a team who last week got absolutely torched by the tight end and gave up 3 touchdowns to the tight end, and nobody's going to play this guy even though he's minimum price? Would that interest you, Hoop?
Jesse James?
Jesse James, baby!
That's tough. I don't know. That's a tough one.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do it either, but I wanted to see if I get you.
But he does have a ton of red zone targets, actually, which is not a ton, but like
getting there.
The red zone targets. And what was the other stat? Like the most pass attempts inside the 10-yard line. I don't know. He's got a lot of stuff in his corner. So for tournaments, I think, yeah.
Tony, can we go there?
I don't think so, but I need you guys to talk me into a tight end because
it's a tough spot.
It's for sure the one position that I literally don't like a single guy more.
That's why I'm tempted. That's why I'm tempted just to play Gronk, honestly, because the price is pretty fair here.
That's the answer. Just play the good guy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Gronk's the answer. You go to Ertz or Kelsey. I think Gronk is like.
You like Ertz? You like Ertz over Gronk, huh?
By quite a bit. Yeah.
Really?
By quite a bit.
Yeah.
You just made fun of Ertz when we started the segment.
No, I didn't make fun of him. I just said that he gets every good matchup, which is true. Like he's been going to get a good matchup after good matchup after good matchup. This is so different. This is
a little bit. You could actually go from like not liking tight end to playing them both because of how cheap they are.
Well, another guy like Kelsey's too cheap too.
Kelsey, I like him too because no one has the Monday game. I'll swear to this forever. Like if they're not on the bigger sites, people forget about them.
Yeah.
Like the Monday night game is completely unowned every week on fantasy draft. So if you can get Kelsey unowned at a weak position, like Kelsey's got to be the slam dunk on fantasy draft.
He's so cheap. He's just way too cheap. All right, guys. It's that time of the show. Give me a defense. Give me one defense that is your favorite tournament-winning defense this week.
Cardinals.
All right, you say the Cardinals. Tony?
For me, for sure, it's the Bengals. They looked incredible last week against Green Bay. They dominated that game, sacked Rodgers 6 times, got a pick to the house. Now they play Kaiser in Cleveland. Sign me up. And we got, what's his name back? Perfect back this week. So they're in a smash spot.
Who's he going to injure?
Kaiser probably.
Yeah, he always hurts somebody. And I'll tell you what, mine is going to be the Patriots. I think they're too cheap. They're going to go unknown, and Cam is in such a
I like that spot a lot. That's a good call. Like I think their defense sucks, but like we said, it is the perfect spot.
I mean, I played the Saints defense last week. Like, yeah, no, I don't have a problem playing bad defense.
The Steve is all over Cam, too. I've been hearing him tout it all week. He loves Cam, of course.
Who is?
Who would be all over Cam?
I don't know. No, please, no. Seriously?
I mean, there's only one answer to the question.
Who are you talking about? Oh, is it Siege?
The Siege, of course.
Man, I feel bad for him. Oh.
And he hates McCaffrey, his boy, but he loves Cam.
Okay.
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 I can't make a comment on that.
If Cam is so be it.
I thought you guys were getting along for a second there.
We are getting along. We are. Our relationship has improved quite a bit, I will say that. But after a comment like that, I really hope a lot of people are subscribed to his package.
I've heard a lot of Cam talk.
I've heard some Cam talk too. Like,
it's hilarious too. Quarterback is so deep too. Like, why would you risk it?
Cam does not have that up. Like, he just doesn't have that upside.
He didn't do it last week. All right. If you don't do it last week in that spot, you're done. Like that. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Like that's it. Like that's the best freaking spot, and he sucks.
Okay, somebody said something in the chat, and these stats are the dumbest thing ever. Gronk has scored in every game he has played in a 50 over-under game in career. Well, hell, let's lock him in then, guys. What does it have to do 3 years ago that a game had a high total?
That is interesting. That's my boy, too, my buddy Scott.
Oh, that's not a real stat.
That is
Scott in line, man. Come on, that's not a real stat. That's a stupid stat.
That is pretty interesting, though, don't you think?
No, I don't think that's interesting at all. I don't think that matters at all. All I'm looking at, but then again, I don't really give much of a crap about Vegas. All I care about is I'm looking at the matchup.
No, you didn't just say that. You didn't say that with Tony, did you?
No.
Hey, you know what?
In football, you don't care about it?
What?
In football, you don't care about it?
No. No, because I'm looking for fantasy points. I'm not looking for team points. Like I'm looking for those 100 yards. I'm looking for those 12 catches.
I don't know if this is breaking news, but the teams that score the most points produce the most fantasy.
Yeah, I get that.
Just kidding.
But they're also priced like it.
I know.
They're also priced like it. Like you hated Odell last week because the total.
Well, it was 1 week. We could say anything.
No. I'm just saying that like Odell was in a good matchup despite the total last week. To me, if I see a spot that's going to be a good matchup and the Vegas total's low, I said, sweet, that means he's going to be unowned. That's what I say.
I mean, of course there's examples. In high totals you cannot like that are going to go under, but overall it has to mean something.
I mean, it's far down on the list for me. It really is. Like
here's a good stat. Brady has thrown a pass in every game he's played in. The chat is just crushing.
Boom. Boom. Yeah, that's right. Austin Darebear. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to put the link in the fantasy draft for the fantasy draft pre-roll one more time in the chat. And guys, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Tony's got to go look at some Vegas stuff. I've got to go win money. And who's got to go to sleep? So it's been a lot of fun. Thank you so much, Fantasy Draft, for sponsoring the show. I'm Eric Crane. He's Mike Pettit, and he's Tony Niehaus. We'll see you guys later. Peace.